My name is Bubba Herc, and at the age of 19, I experienced something that profoundly changed the course of my life. It wasn't something I anticipated, nor was it something I could ever prepare for. It was a near-death experience that challenged everything I believed and redefined my understanding of existence. In 2019, I was a freshman playing baseball at Jacksonville University, a Division I school in North Florida. Baseball had been my identity for as long as I could remember. My dream was simple: make it to the pros. That year, however, I injured my elbow and was scheduled to undergo Tommy John surgery, a common procedure in the baseball world. My expectation was straightforward: go in, get my elbow fixed, and return to the field. The day before surgery, I attended a pre-op meeting where a nurse asked me several routine questions. One, in particular, caught me off guard. Are you allergic to anesthesia? I didn't know. I had never been under anesthesia before. I told her no, and the meeting continued. Yet, something about that question left me unsettled. I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. On the morning of the surgery, I was in the pre-op room with my surgeon and a team of doctors. The surgeon explained the procedure, assuring me that I'd be unconscious by the time they moved me 15 feet from the pre-op room to the operating room. The anesthesia will put you under in seconds, he said. The surgery will take an hour, and you'll be on your way to recovery. I nodded, feeling a mixture of nerves and determination. They inserted the anesthesia into my fore. I waited for the drowsiness to hit, but nothing happened. As they wheeled me into the operating room, I was still awake. Confused but unsure of what to expect, I closed my eyes, willing myself to fall asleep. The doctors assumed I was already unconscious and prepared to begin the surgery. As they approached with their tools, something extraordinary occurred. In an instant, I felt myself detach from my body. I was no longer lying on the operating table. Instead, I was floating above it, looking down at the scene below. My body lay there, lifeless, with my skin turning a bruised purple, then a ghostly white. The heart monitor let out a continuous, piercing tone, a flat line. I realized, with a chilling clarity, that I was dead. I was then catapulted into a life review. Time didn't exist as it does here. It felt both instantaneous and eternal. Every moment of my life played out before me, from the mundane to the significant. I saw my childhood, my friendships, my triumphs, and my failures. But this was no ordinary replay. I could step into each memory, reliving it not just from my perspective, but from the perspectives of others involved. One memory stood out. I was a child, fighting with my older brother, Sean. Our dad, frustrated, disciplined us with a belt. As a child, I had harbored resentment for that moment, feeling unjustly treated. But during the life review, I experienced it from my dad's perspective. I felt his stress, his sense of responsibility, and his desire to teach us right from wrong. It was humbling and eye-opening, as were so many other memories. Amidst the review, I felt an overwhelming wave of regret. I saw times when I could have been kinder, moments when I should have told my family I loved them, and opportunities to live more fully that I let slip away. My heart ached with the realization that I hadn't truly lived. Fear gripped me as I faced the possibility of dying with this unfinished business. Suddenly, the life review ended, and I found myself in a place that words cannot adequately describe. It was serene, radiant, and otherworldly. Everything shimmered as if made of crystalline light, with colors more vivid than anything on earth. It felt like being inside a diamond, where light refracted into endless hues. This place wasn't just beautiful, it was alive. And so was I. In fact, I felt more alive there than I ever had on earth. As I marveled at this realm, I noticed a figure approaching. Without words, I knew who it was, my stepdad. He had passed away 2 years earlier, and seeing him filled me with a profound sense of love and familiarity. He didn't speak, but he didn't need to. Telepathically, he passed me a basketball and we began to play. It was a recreation of a memory from my childhood, a game we played when I was 12. Except now, I wasn't 12. I was 19, and neither of us had physical bodies. We played with our minds, our spirits, and it was pure bliss. The game felt like it lasted an eternity, but eventually, my stepdad's demeanor changed. The joy in his eyes gave way to a stern yet loving expression. He told me I had a purpose on earth and that my time wasn't over. He explained that I had a choice. I could stay in this perfect realm for eternity or return to fulfill my purpose. Though it felt like a choice, deep down, I knew I had to go back. In a flash, he was gone, and I was back in the operating room, hovering above my lifeless body. I watched as the doctors injected something into me, desperately trying to revive me. Then, with a jolt, I re-entered my body. My eyes flew open, and I started swinging my arms, disoriented and desperate to return to that other place. The days and weeks that followed were a blur. I struggled to make sense of what had happened. Before this experience, I was a secular person. I believed that death was the end, a void of nothingness. But now, I knew otherwise. The challenge was reconciling this new understanding with the life I'd been living. First, I tried to suppress the experience, sharing it with only a handful of people. I returned to baseball, but my passion for the game was gone. Every time I stepped onto the field, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was meant for something more. 2 years after the experience, I quit baseball entirely and began searching for my purpose. Over the past 3 years, I've worked to rebuild my life. I've embraced the idea of a higher power and the continuation of consciousness after death. I've started living more authentically, telling the truth, taking risks, and prioritizing what truly matters. The regret I felt during my life review has become a guide, a reminder to live in a way that ensures I never feel that pain again. The greatest lesson I've learned is that life is a gift, precious, fleeting, and unpredictable. We don't know when our time will come, but we have the power to make the most of each moment. My hope is to help others live without regret, to appreciate the time they have, and to find purpose in their lives. If there's one thing I want to share, it's this. This life is not the end. There is more, a place more real and more beautiful than anything we can imagine. And while we're here, we have a chance to live fully, love deeply, and leave the world a little better than we found it. Live every day as if it's your last, because one day it will be.